It is a Broncos show, and we're talking AFC West draft recap. And the Denver Broncos, without a first-round pick, because they got the greatest first-round pick in the draft. His name's Russell Wilson. So picking at 64, the very final pick of the second round was number 64. And I had said on Broncos TV the week before that if they wanted Nick Bonito, they'd probably have to move up to get him. And if they didn't get Nick Bonito, you could get Greg Dulcich at 64. Well, the Broncos and George Payton and I, we're like, kindred spirits, I would say. He's good. He's a good man. He's a really, really good man. But later in this draft, it's going to be like Killer versus Nibbles from Half Baked, right? This one is for Killer B, and they got Nick Bonito at 64, so they got a fine pass rusher available at that moment. A 248 guy, so not the length and strength player, but definitely has multiple moves to get after the passer. With Bonito, he's got to learn how to stack him. Doesn't know how to stack him yet. Once he does that, look out. I'm not going to say Von Miller, but there are shades of what Shaq Barrett does. I think Shaq's got a little more nasty to his game, but there are shades of Shaq Barrett when you look at Nick Bonito. So fine pick, applause the pick, and predicted the pick on Broncos TV. Greg Dulcich looks like Weird Al, plays like Big Al. I don't know. Plays really good football, as an F tight end, a 3-level player that can attack all levels of the defense with speed. The kid definitely has speed, and I honestly think, Bloom, he's your starter. I don't think Alberto Cuebunom is your starter. I don't think you can trust Alberto to stay healthy. Alberto's a little bit more rigid. Like we talk about Alberto Cuebunom as a player who was bigger, faster, stronger than Noah Fant. All those things are true. The problem becomes he's hurt all the time, and when he moves, he really has to throttle down to change direction. You don't see that with Dulcich. Dulcich is a smooth athlete that can attack the defense, which is what he shall do for the Denver Broncos. So tight end by committee, but if Dulcich leads the team at the position and catches, I wouldn't be shocked. And by the way, I was wrong when Russell Wilson was first added. I was like, he doesn't use a tight end. Well, he didn't have a tight end to really stay healthy because Will Dissly'd get hurt after 4 games, or Jimmy Graham years ago or whatever. He does use the tight end more than you think, usually spreads it around, and usually those guys get hurt. So if someone stays healthy, is that Dulcich? What can he do? Let's discuss. Let's move on. And the draft is still good. It's still good when they get to Mari Mathis, Pitt, corner, Bloom, strength, kind of feisty, kind of annoying as a corner, I guess is the best way to describe it. So I will describe it as such. Now, I will try, and I'll try for many reasons to get Innie's name right, because his nickname is Innie. He said it's like the belly button, like Innie. And there actually is pronounced Enyoma. And then Stink helped me with the pronunciation, Bloom. Do you remember the song Pina Colada? Do you remember that song?
Getting Lost. It's a song about where he puts the personal ad because, things aren't going too great. And then it ends up his wife that answers the personal ad, right?
Yeah. And if you like Pina Coladas, if you like Ooh Was a Rike.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Schlereth taught me that. If you like Ooh Was a Rike. So Inyoma Uwazurike, Innie, from Iowa State, defensive end, huge man. And a guy that had 9 sacks last year on the edge as what's he measuring? Like 320? Whatever the number is. Like so we have huge rusher on the edge who also can play. He can play 0 technique, although I wouldn't necessarily want him there. He's a little too tall for that. But he can play 3 technique. He can play 5 technique. I wouldn't put him at 7, but he's still an edge guy. Yeah. He's your Draymond Jones replacement, basically. Yeah. If Draymond blows up this year, Broncos can't afford him because they're going to pay Russell Wilson 5 for $250, fully guaranteed. Okay, you heard it here first. I've said it multiple times on the air, but Russell Wilson's going to get 5 years, $250, fully guaranteed, and that's if they get him as a deal. Okay, well, we got a smoking deal on Russell Wilson, everybody. $50 million a year, fully guaranteed. That's if they get him at his deal. It might be more, but 5 for $250, they can't afford anybody. So Draymond Jones, bye-bye. And if Draymond doesn't blow up, well, see you later. And Innie's there to take your spot. Now, here's where things take a turn in the 5th round. Delarine Turner-Yell, Oklahoma safety. Now, he is Nick Bonito's best friend. And I get to work with you, Bloom. So,
Yeah.
I can't say I don't get to work with my best friend, but I get to work with you. I don't get to work with Big E, although we do work on comic books together. So I do get to work with Big
You
E.
do
So,
get to. What are you talking about?
maybe I should like Turner Yell, but here's what I told Nick Ferguson. I said, Nick, as former safety for 10 years in the league, I said, do you want a safety that's built like a corner that can't play corner? You want a safety that has problems tackling? And do you want a safety that can't stay healthy? And he was like, I do, Cecil. And I was like, you're lying. I called him a liar on there. I was like, you're lying, dude. Like, you don't want a safety. He's like, well, because Turner Yell is known as like a tone setter, right? So he's like, I want a tone setter, Cecil. And I'm like, what, from the bench? You want a tone setter who's sitting in the press box because he's didn't make the team and he's with the practice squad? Like, that's what you want? Seriously, you got in the 5th round, and again, Kyron Williams was there. Jalen Watson was there. Tariq Woolen was there. So you got a safety that's built like a corner that can't tackle and can't stay healthy. Awesome. Okay, here's where it also took another turn. So the 5th round, Montrell Washington, return man from Samford. And George Payton even himself said, well, look at what he did against Florida. Florida sucks, okay? This isn't the Florida of old. This isn't the Gators that you remember, all right? I think my man Jim McElwain, and I did have high hopes for Jim McElwain. I like Jim when he was here at CSU. But like I think like the McElwain era just put the Gators in a bad spot, and they've never gotten out of it. What are they, like 4 coaches past McElwain?
Yeah.
So like whatever. Like the Gators stink. So a Division II guy took it to the Gators. Okay. And watch, he'll be Devin Hester, right? Just because. But again, I know 0 people in the league that were tearing up the phone lines for Montrell Washington. You take Turner Yell in the 7th, fine. You take Montrell Washington in the 7th, fine. I get that, whatever. But the 5th, when Kyron Williams is still there, when Jerome Ford is still there, like you have all these players. Abraham Lucas was hanging around in this area, right? Tariq Woolen, who I've mentioned, Jalen Watson, who I've mentioned, like that. You have all of this talent kind of hanging around. We'll get to Jalen Watson in a bit because the Chiefs drafted him. The Chiefs had like a Broncos draft
right
after the first couple of picks. Oh man. Okay, so deep breath. It's 5th round picks. Probably neither one of them will ever do anything. So I'm, getting gray hair for nothing. But yeah, there was better talent available. Luke Wattenberg, center, Washington, up next. Versatile player, good kid. Matt Henningsen. Do you know who else scouts call him? It's a different Matt Bloom. They call him Matt Damon because the dude is bright. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. So he earned the nickname Matt Damon because of Goodwill Hunting. And then Fan Hicks, Wisconsin corner. So double up on the Badgers at the end just to make our man Frank Schwab happy. But Bloom, that's the Broncos draft. And I think I'm okay.
Yeah, how am I going to follow that? They got Russell Wilson, right? So what does it even matter? Well, this is all the postscript. This is the footnote. But you mentioned Bonito, and he's going to get after the quarterback, and he's got some holes in his game. Otherwise, who cares? One of the picks they get for Von Miller, so there's some symmetry there. Dulcich, a big play tight end, and like take Cecil's words to heart, folks. I mean, we thought, oh, Noah Fant traded Albert O. It's his time. That time could be short with Dulcich in there, and maybe that initial obstacle, I probably moved him down too far in my Blue 100. I got to go revise that. Mathis has got some speed and some toughness, whereas Enrique, as you said, he's a depth player who can play just about everywhere you want on the defensive line. So that's good. That's a glue player. These are players that can help you. Good rundown of the 5th round picks. And again, this is another episode of how is it for Cecil to cover the Broncos. You got to have something. You got to have some sort of grain of sand that turns into that pearl, right? This is the grain of sand. But yeah, there wasn't really a lot there about Washington other than that Florida game. Turner Yell can move well, I guess. He's a project. Wattenberg is not necessarily a project. He needs to get stronger if he's going to stick. Henningsen, another one of those guys, he'll eat snaps for you inside. You know, he'll make his blockers' life more difficult. Not necessarily one of those players that has a lot of upside. Hicks does have upside and can hang in man coverage too. So actually, that's a pick a lot of people had going a little earlier than they got him. So that kind of makes up for the 5th round pick. Did they do anything in the UDFAs to make up for those 5th round picks?
Yeah, well, they got some UDFAs that honestly I would have drafted ahead of those guys.
Right?
Hell, Jalen Virgil, their App State wide receiver. You telling me he can't be a better return man? That's his specialty. But Chris Allen, linebacker, Alabama.
Yeah.
And when players fall, name the player, whoever it is, you just go medicals. You know, Carson Strong falls, you go medicals. That's what you get with Allen. But Allen, if he's healthy, had a foot injury last year. I think he played 6 snaps, but in the 6 snaps, he had like a sack, a forced fumble. Like it was pretty good 6 snaps. And he was kind of, I believe he led the SEC or was it the nation in tackles for loss, Bloom, in 2020. So dude makes plays on the other side of the line of scrimmage. You get him as an undrafted guy. Like, I don't care if his foot's not right yet. Like, that is a great pickup. It's a great addition for you. So, that's the player to watch. They did get some skill guys. Obviously, I'll keep a track of those. And hell, I was out there yesterday. I'll be back for rookie minicamp next week. But anyway, like, I think Chris Allen's the player to watch.
Yeah, I agree. It's the pedigree, it's the production, and it is just medicals, but that's the easy yes to taking a chance on him to see what you can develop there. The Russell Wilson era begins. It's an exciting time to be a fan of the Broncos, an exciting time to cover the Broncos, and it's still an exciting time to be a Chiefs fan too.
Yeah, oh my God. If you are the Chiefs, because, lose Honey Badger, right? We talk about the Tyreek Hill deal, like, okay, no more Tyreek Hill. All right, you've got these problems. And then you have this sort of draft. Oh my God. So they're already ahead of every team in the division. The AFC West is the toughest division of football. Don't at me, bro. But so you have this toughest division of football, and you thought Kansas City would little step back, little back to the pack, right? You thought you would be, who won the Kentucky Derby, Bloom?
Rich Strike.
Okay, you thought you would be Rich Strike, coming from the rear and then leading the pack and winning it all. That's what you thought. Kansas City had this draft. Nope. There is no distance gained. And Chris, you can clip this. There is no distance gained in the AFC West on the Kansas City Chiefs after this sort of draft. Incredible draft. Almost every pick an absolute hit. Let's start. And as I reported on the Fan, Kansas City wanted to move up. They wanted to move up for a defensive player. I thought, and I knew they wanted a pass rusher, so I was like, are they trying to get like a Jermaine Johnson, something like that? And Johnson did go later than we thought it would go. Some people thought top 10. He did have a good Senior Bowl, but I didn't think it would propel him top 10. And I like Jermaine Johnson. So anyway, so I knew they were going to move up. They did. It was for a defensive player. It wasn't for a pass rusher. They got him later. But Trent McDuffie, Washington, burst, speed, playmaking ability from the corner position. Like, all right, get your Russell Wilson. That's cute. Get your Devontae Adams. It's fine. Do it. Kansas City they're just stick it in the face of their opponents in the AFC West because they get McDuffie in the first round and they follow it with George Karlaftis from Purdue, who's already made Broncos fans mad because he said sacking the little guy will be fun, talking about Russell Wilson. Well, yeah, George Karlaftis versus Garrett Bowles. Garrett Bowles is going to be exposed this year, everybody. And I hope Russell Wilson makes it through the season. I don't want to be a doomsayer, but Garrett Bowles had it's like being good in the bubble in the NBA. There's your basketball talk, Bloom. What's the flailings? Like, you were good in the bubble. That's never going to happen again. Garrett Bowles was good in a Coof year. I almost did it. YouTube is like, oh, we're going to take your money. Take my 5 cents. Garrett Bowles was good in a Coof year with no fans when they didn't call holding. Last year wasn't as good. This year with a real quarterback, I'm just saying, if I'm the Broncos, I would have been considering a left tackle upgrade. Anyway, you got Karlaftis in the first round. Beautiful. Brilliant. And they're not done, Bloom. Almost all of these are hits. Almost every single pick they got was a hit. Skyy Moore, it is unfair that the NFL allowed the Chiefs
Ha.
to get Skyy Moore.
Bill Belichick allowed the Chiefs to get Skyy
Yes,
Moore.
yes, because you had to have Tyquan Thornton. The only thing that makes Washington picks better is that they didn't do it in the second round, right? Let's go get us a return man. No, the Tyquan Thornton moving up in the second round, and you had Skyy Moore right there staring at you. Okay, and what I was told yesterday, because I was doing this rant out at Broncos, right, before Ronald Darby came out to speak, and a lot of the reporters, who God bless them, God bless everybody, right? Everybody. They cover the game, they don't know the game. So I was told, yeah, but those guys, he's not Tyreek Hill. Well, thanks for that fascinating breakdown of Skyy Moore. It's incredible. Yes, he's not Tyreek Hill, but you know what Skyy Moore can do? Make freaking plays with the ball. This is just stupid. It's video game mode, right? They just did 99, everything, 99. I'm going to create my own character for the Chiefs, create my own player, 99, 99, 99, all the attributes, everything. Skyy Moore's not perfect as a receiver. There are flaws, Bloom, you can go over. But in this offense, for this team, my God, NFL, you're stupid. Brian Cook, Cincinnati, safety. It wasn't Ritter and a bunch of slappies. Cook can play. Leo Chenal, Wisconsin inside linebacker. Find the ball, blow it up. Joshua Williams, one of my favorite sleeper corners. Fayetteville State, saw him at the Senior Bowl. And again, Broncos, like, huh? I feel like LeBron, Bloom, when JR kept taking those shots and he's like, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? You have this? What are you doing? What is right there? What? Anyway, Chiefs, I love it. I love it. Darren Kennard, Kentucky guard, 5th round. Kennard could have gone in the 3rd. There's my man, Jalen Watson. Hashtag go Cougs, right? And boy, did they say that at the graduation a lot. It was like, go Cougs. All right, we get it. Go Cougs. But Cougs help Cougs. It's one thing Liam told me. So Jalen Watson, 6'2", got length, could break up the ball. Isaiah Pacheco, Rutgers, attacks the ground when he runs. Najee Johnson, Marshall safety. That's the only one I don't have a whole lot to say about. But Kansas City, I think is this a Chiefs show, Bloom?
Yeah.
Did we just do that? I just talked for 5 minutes about the Chiefs draft because it was excellent.
Yeah, we'll probably spend 5 minutes on their UDFAs, right?
Yeah.
They move up from McDuffie. In my mind, boy, I hope Kenny Pickett is the good Kirk Cousins, not the bad Kirk Cousins, because Trent McDuffie was right there. A lot of people had him going in the top 12, top 15. It has everything you want in a cornerback except size. Okay, we can live with that. And that's going to be very important in this division. You know, think Casey Hayward. Is that fair? You know, Jason Verrett before he kept getting hurt. George Karlaftis. And what you like about this guy is he's a power end. Okay. He's not twitchy. He's not necessarily a bend and turn the corner guy, but he is a pain to deal with. And if you put him next to Chris Jones, you got Frank Clark on the other side. Yeah, we're talking. So immediate upgrade to the defense. Then they get more, even after they trade down. Tough, crafty. Like you said, Cecil, he just makes plays. Pittsburgh kid. Shady Side Academy. That's where Sigmund Elblum, my father, went. Brian Cook, just a good all-around safety with combativeness, competitiveness, physicality to his game. This was a good safety class, and they got the last good safety, or the one that we know is going to be good. So, wow, what a start to their draft. And then they get Leo Chenal, and I know that we poked a little fun at the Jags. Ooh, you have your 3 linebackers. Does that fit in the 2022 NFL? Well, now they have their 3 linebackers in Kansas City, and Bolton and Willie Gay and Chenal, your strong side linebacker. And he's a classic strong side linebacker, not necessarily going to fill up the stat sheet, but they have their 3 linebackers, but they spent 2nd-round picks on their guys. Okay, they didn't sign big contracts. So they have their core of the middle of that defense. Williams, yet another small school corner who's shown that he can fit in the NFL. Kennard, another value pick, a mauler. Watson, like you said, sees a high upside project cornerback. Johnson's more of an athlete looking for a position, but hey, I'm fine with that on the last day of the draft, especially when you're talking about the Chiefs draft where they already nailed so many picks. And Isaiah Pacheco, Matt Waldman favorite. They like the Matt Waldman running backs, right?
Broncos brought him in for a top 30 visit. Dude can play.
Well, the thing you like about Pacheco is he is another one that every time he touches the ball, it's like his life depends on it. He runs with that reckless abandon that those are kind of players to hit their ceiling, even if it's a modest ceiling. So we're going to watch Pacheco as a late round prospect, and there are some undrafted free agents we will definitely be watching with the Chiefs.
Brandon just got it. Now there's
Yeah.
more than one, but Justin Ross,
Sure.
again, Bloom. I feel I've been too chatty, but when you get a Clemson wide receiver, undrafted that can fly, again, NFL, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're trying to catch up. You have to keep up with the Joneses. The Joneses in your neighborhood are the Chiefs. All right, your house is the color of a Girl Scout cookie. The Chiefs have a mansion. All right. You need to change that. And you can't change that if they keep getting guys like Justin Ross, UDFA.
Yeah, we know he can play. Medical concerns, spine, lots of other things. It may turn out to be that everybody was right passing on him, but already he's had a rookie mini camp look fine. So all these questions about the Chiefs wide receivers, even Skyy Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the answer might be Justin Ross. The answer might be Justin Ross. They got Jerron Ely too, a running back, good receiving back. I know Dustin Crum, the quarterback they got, some people liked as a late round, what the heck kind of prospect that you develop. So a great draft, top to bottom for the Chiefs. They are up to the task. The only real question is, will this offense be hurt by the loss of Tyreek Hill? Everything gets compressed, or will Patrick Mahomes be able to make it work a la Aaron Rodgers with a ragtag group of guys? We'll see if Aaron Rodgers can do the same thing. Lots of plots here on Schedule Thursday, Cease.
Schedule release party tonight. But for us, next, it is LA Chargers. And what they did in the draft, and certainly solid, was Zion Johnson. Not much you can say bad about the big man from Boston College with, again, shocking hands, violent striking hands. JT Woods, speaking of playing with violence, there's JT Woods, Baylor safety in the third round. Isaiah Spiller can be a starter. Isaiah Spiller is the guy that'll take over for Austin Eckler. Okay, that's how it's going to happen. Isaiah Spiller can play on all three downs. He can be a lead back. You get him in the fourth round. Again, you're going to find value at the running back position. Just put a pin in it with Spiller. How many other backs, and God bless Justin Jackson or whoever, Bloom, right? How many other backs not named Austin Eckler have we been putting our chips on, right? And being like, 0-0. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, my God. Like, put your chips on Spiller. And I love Austin Eckler. Like so many stories I could tell about Austin. By the way, his little brother's playing at Wyoming, safety. Anyway, when Austin is with a different team or banged up, just watch out for Spiller. Watch out for Spiller there, fourth round. Atito Ogbania, UCLA defensive tackle in the fifth. Jamari Salyer, Georgia guard, sixth. Jasir Taylor, Wake Forest corner. Deanne Leonard, Ole Miss corner. And then Xander Horvath. Sounds like a Guardians of the Galaxy character.
Yeah, right.
Fullback from Purdue. So Bloom, Chargers, solid here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go on and on like I did with the Chiefs, but solid time here for LA Chargers.
Solid. Tyrion Davis Price, the Game of Thrones name, Xander Horvath from Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe that can be a game we play with this. Zion Johnson. I mean, this is what happened in this draft. If you had a pick after 14, you weren't necessarily going to get a true team changer, first round quality guy. Although Johnson, a first round quality guard, they can always use him. Woods, they have no second round pick. That was Khalil Mack. So, hey, it's the AFC West. You got to use those picks to upgrade in the present, too. They get JT Woods, a good safety for Brandon Staley's defense, someone who can play too high safety, already ready for that role. You mentioned Spiller, and he was supposed to be that number 3 back that separated from all these other backs who went in the third and fourth round, but he didn't. That being said, he's a proven guy from day one in the SEC. Now, this is another example that Chargers have been throwing picks after this role. Joshua Kelly, Larry Roundtree, Justin Jackson. Maybe they found one that's really going to stick here in Spiller. Obanaya, more of a snap eater again at defensive tackle. Salyer is a limited ceiling right tackle type. They didn't have a Slater fall to them in this draft. Taylor, a combine snub with speed and competitiveness. I like that pick later on. Another speed cornerback in Leonard. Horvath looks like Mike Allstott, doesn't exactly play like Mike Allstott. You got that Purdue connection there. So, like you said, see, 7th round, we'll forgive those picks. 5th round, we'll talk about them, and we'll have them as a story going in to the summer. And one more team already. Oh, man, time flies.
Yeah, here we are. But we do have UDFAs for the Chargers. Not a whole lot here, Bloom.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
Now, a couple of running back names just because, see how it translate in rookie mini camp. Are these guys cut already?
Exactly. Right.
That's what I can't stand. I think we did our first show, and then I came back the next day. I was like, oh, dude, that Ohio State kid, Master Teague got cut. So yeah, that's how it happened. So I'll talk about him quickly, but Letty Brown, running back from West Virginia, and Kevin Marks, running back from Buffalo. Just keep an eye on him, see what happens, and see if anything's there. That's about it.
Trevon Bradford, a slot out of Oregon State, because they need a slot receiver because they have an open spot for that number 6 receiver. Follow him. But yeah, this was probably out of all the undrafted free agent classes, this was the hardest one to find somebody worth talking about.
Right. Let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders then and see what they did in their draft, because not a lot of picks, but some players here, some interesting players. Certainly Dylan Parham. You start out, your first pick is a 3rd rounder. To have a guy like Parham there, that's good. That's a solid pick. Guard from Memphis. So, we'll see how he works out in the pros. 4th round, Zamir White from Georgia. Get yourself a Georgia running back that can do a little bit of everything. And we've already heard the reports because, Josh Jacobs isn't going to be there except for this year. And then Kenyon Drake, well, whatever length his contract is, Bloom, I don't have it in front of me, so forgive me, but Drake's not going to carry the load. And not that White will either, but White could be the Jacobs. It could be White and Drake in a year. So Zamir White, definitely a player we will watch with great interest. Which cat is that in the background, Bloom? I want to know.
Oh, Opal. That's Opal. She's, Siamese cats, they say they were the palace guards back in the Kingdom of Siam. Okay. And she is right now on guard. The house next door, they're doing some work, so she's not very happy about that. And she's protecting the royal family.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'd rather talk about Opal than Neil Farrell Jr., LSU defensive tackle. No, he's fine. Matthew Butler, Tennessee defensive tackle. He's fine as well. Thayer Munford, Ohio State offensive tackle. And then Britton Brown, UCLA running back. So a couple of backs, again, drafting for next year when Josh Jacobs is gone.
Yeah, again, their draft is Devontae Adams. It's Devontae Adams. Nothing else really matters about this draft. But let's talk about what they got. They got a solid guard in Parham. They get Zamir White. I won't be surprised if Zamir White's the 3rd best back out of this class, maybe even the 2nd best back out of this class. He's a power cutter. He's got power, but he also has some agility, and it wouldn't be surprising to see him starting next year for this team in a committee with a receiving back. But hey, White is somebody that, from a fantasy standpoint, I would actually put him at the top of that group of players, even ahead of Isaiah Spiller, after the top 3 running backs, James Cook being a clear 3rd. Farrell, nose tackle. I think Dane Brugler liked him. Maybe there's some upside for there to be more there than just someone who ties up a couple of players against the run. Butler, another snap eater who does it with high effort. Munford, a guard tackle tweener with some length, see where he fits. They mentioned Britton Brown, and that was a little bit of a head scratcher there. There was a lot of undrafted running backs we talked about, Cecil, that would have been a much better pick there than Britton Brown. But the table is set. All these teams using draft capital to improve with veterans. And the team that makes the crank turn in this division, just gathering draft capital, giving away a veteran to get more draft capital. So AFC West, we saw all the dominoes fall earlier in the offseason. It is the must-see TV division. Let's see how many. Let's put every AFC West matchup in prime time.
Well, Bloom, I have $1 million ideas all the time. Like I told Nick Ferguson, because he's got a lot of buddies in the music industry. I think one of his like best friends is like a guitarist for Smash Mouth. All right,
Okay.
so whatever, if that'll get you in a club, then I may not want to go to that club. But anyway, I told him, I said, I got this country song for you. It's called "She Took the High Road and I Took the Road." Right? Like when it's all done, she takes the high road. Yeah, I'll take the road. Anyway, that sounds like a country song. But I bring it up because my $1 million idea, for whoever wants it, just take it, because I ain't gonna do it. I'm making comic books, everybody. Is an AFC West only channel. AFC West only. Yeah. I mean, I will write a little bit about it at denverfan.com, but like if you just focused, make your YouTube channel, whatever, that was just on the AFC West, you'd have a great product. You'd have a great product for however long these teams can keep it together. But that is, if there was a primetime AFC West game every single week,
yeah,
nobody would, you wouldn't bat an eye.
Yeah.
It's Raiders Chiefs again. Like,
right.
Nobody would say that. Right. Nobody would say that. Like, it is the creme de la creme. I'd rather talk about that than the Vegas UDFAs, Bloom, but I will. And I will talk about who they get. Trey Turner, Virginia Tech. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Ball skills.
Yeah, exactly.
He needs to add some weight in the weight room, add some strength. He'll do that, but definitely got the ball skills there. So we'll talk a little Hokies for UDFAs. Yeah.
Exactly, Cecil. He knows what to do when the ball's in the air, but to hang in the NFL, he's going to have to change his body. He's going to have to develop, but that's why he was an undrafted free agent. Wow. Turn the page, and here we are. And Cecil, I think, again, I just continue to be floored. I'm going to do at the end of this episode, even though it was a Broncos show and we're chatty, just our people coming out, and the love of football and the love of the constantly changing puzzle that is fantasy football, but mostly just the love of hanging out with your friends. And Cecil, we were talking about this before we went on the air yesterday. So I'm going to take a moment out to tell everybody, and maybe this is because I'm getting old. I'm getting soft. I was already soft. How do you get soft when you're come out soft, doughy? Just find your nectar, find your joy where you can today, every day. That's actually the game here. That's the point. And I think we mostly find our joy in each other. And I certainly find it getting to do this show with Cecil, getting to be part of Footballguys under the command and leadership of Joe Bryant, and the amazing community we have assembled 20 years plus running now. And Cecil, I said this, I think with Joe in like a meeting. I really think, and I don't want to be self-aggrandizing or have delusions of grandeur about Footballguys, but I really think the football podcasting world or fantasy football podcasting world, the idea of you're a fan of a team, you're a fan of football, but you don't take your football talk and football thinking casually, that it's something that you care about, it's something that you're quote unquote serious about, even though it's something that is a pursuit, a hobby, a release, an escape. I think that started at the Footballguys message board.
Old Yeller. Yeah, it started Old Yeller, man.
It started at Old Yeller. And Chris Wessling, for instance, rest in peace, man. He was a superstar, Fear and Loathing, on that message board, and so on and so forth. And it continues to be a great joy, a great privilege, a great pleasure. I consider us in some ways the keepers of that flame. And I hope that we continue to earn that role and fulfill it. And we'll have Opal on guard to make sure in case anybody comes for the crown.
Yeah, we got it. We got Opal. So take that, everyone. Take that. Oh, see, Bloom, you're very wise and you're very kind. I am very unwise and I'm kind of mean. Because I was thinking like,
ornery.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ornery. No, we appreciate everyone. And this ain't radio, man. Like, I always love when you'll see, new shows or everyone, everyone has a microphone. Doesn't mean everyone should, but it's like, it's not radio. It's not Ass Crack and Ballsack, AM and the AM. Sorry, Joe. It's podcasting. It's different. And you have to approach it differently. I laugh the same way when radio stations like, we got a podcast. No, you don't. It's just replaying your show. Listen to the Nick and Cecil podcast at denverfan.com. Anyway, that's not a podcast. Podcasts are different. So everyone be different. Find your people, and I'll say something briefly that you mentioned to me privately, but I think it's worth just saying, and you can think about it on your own. We've only got each other.
Yeah.
So find your each other, whoever that is, whoever your community is, that's what you've got. That's where your joy and your happiness comes from, your strength comes from. We only have each other. So thank you for being here for us and being here with us. He is Sigmund Bloom. You follow him on Twitter at Sigmund Bloom. I am at Cecil Lammey. The show is at the Audible, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to do those YouTube things, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. And thank you, Sasha from Casually Comics, for giving me that line, because that is awesome. Actually, I just got it from watching her channel all the time because it's awesome. Anyway, he's Sigmund. I'm Cecil. We are the Audible. Everyone, stay tuned and stay frosty.